The coronavirus pandemic seems to be having much impact, or rather offering an opportunity to solve an age-long problem in the Almajiri in the northern Nigeria. The governors of the 19 northern states have agreed to return Almajiri to their homes. In this report, correspondent Larry Adeyemi reviews the Almajiri question and the challenges of solving it.
It is over 100 years old and estimated to be more than 3 million strong. The Almajiri question has long been with northern Nigeria without an answer.
The government played an I don't care attitude over the issue that led us to where we are today.
But the coronavirus pandemic seems to be offering an opportunity. Northern political and religious leaders are now compelled to embrace change and take tough decisions.
I'm a beneficiary of the system because this is the system that brought me up, and I think I came out, memorized the Quran and did a lot of things, but now we are saying that, okay, this is the time we have to remodel the whole Almajiri system, but as long as there is the political will.
This is a golden opportunity, a great opportunity for the 19 state governors in the north to outlaw this Almajiri system. This Almajiri system is one of the contributory factors to the backwardness and underdevelopment of northern Nigeria.
Well, joining me from Enugu via Skype is PR consultant and public affairs analyst Ambrose Igbokwe. Good morning, Ambrose. Good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning, Veronica.
Now, the issue of Almajiri banning or reforming has been a sensitive issue to really talk about in recent times, or rather over the years. But now we see the northern governors talking about a total ban of the Almajiri system. I wonder what you make of this and if really there can be an end to this age-long tradition.
Well, first of all, I would like to trace the history of the Almajiri system. The Almajiri system in northern Nigeria is almost 1,000 years old. It started in the 11th century through the cross-strait border communication with the Arabs who brought Islam to northern Nigeria. Now, it underwent a reform in the 19th century during the caliphate of Usman Dan Fodio, where it was also recalibrated in such a way. What is the system all about? It is where parents release their children to an Islamic scholar or teacher that teaches the children how to memorize the Quran and know basic tenets of Islam. So over the years, when the British government took over, there was a kind of disruption in the system. Before the British government came, the Almajiri system was being funded by public funds. You know, people donate money to the school, and then they use it to feed the children. But the British system abolished that. So before the British system came, the public felt the Almajiri through systemic, strategies, public funds, where they put together. When the British came, they banned that. And so for them to survive, the scholars now started sending the children to the streets to be able to source for money to sustain the system. Now, over the years, as everything in Nigeria, the system has been bastardized over the years. What they now started doing was to now use the children as a ways of raising money. First of all, under the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it is wrong to use minors for such venture. So they were now raising the children to use them to raise money rather than do this Islamist thing they came to learn. They will learn in a few hours, then they send them on the street. At the end of the day, we'll find out that the Islamic scholars were using it to enrich themselves and the system. Then we now found out that the government also failed over the years. They were now using the outcome of the Almajiri system for political tools. They became the thugs, they became the street urchins, they became all sorts of things, leaving the basic thing they came to do, that is learning Islamic. Now, for most of the, if you see all the Islamic competitions, recital of the Quran and the rest that have been organized over the years, you'll find out that hardly anybody from the Almajiri system, the way it is being seen as a social nuisance, have already emerged winner. Those who have emerged winner in Quranic recitation are always those from homes from schools, from Western schools and the rest.
All right,
So,
Ambrose,
a decadence in it.
Ambrose, if I may interrupt your line of thought, are you saying from your analysis now that perhaps the approach by the government, the northern governors rather, to ban may not be the case? Are you saying they should perhaps go to address the issues by speaking to the scholars and ensuring that they know that whatever they are doing is against the law? How should the government, the governors approach this?
A 1,000-year system of learning is antiquated, outdated, and obsolete. So it should be scrapped, abandoned, and rejected. The Almajiri system is not the only system to learn Islamic tradition or Islamic tenets. We have other Islamic countries. We have Iran, we have Saudi Arabia, we have the United Arab Emirates. Even in Nigeria, we have Muslims from other parts of the country. We have Muslims in the Yoruba land. We have Muslims in Kogi and other places. There are no Almajiris there. The Almajiris are in the core north. So they are not the only ones practicing Islam. So that system should be banned. When we were little, I grew up first 10 of my years in Kwara State. And then we used to go to what they call Ilekeu in Yoruba language, which is an Islamic school with our friends who were Muslims. We used to go there and learn Islam. People came from their homes. So this system of bequeathing children to a particular scholar in the name of learning, it should be scrapped. What they need to do is to evolve a system which will always combine Western education with Arabic education. President Goodluck Jonathan in 2012 experimented with something like that by building Almajiri schools all over the north. What became of that? Because of the selfish political interest of the northern elites and the politicians there, they have left that system to the schools that were built by President Jonathan then, that would have reformed the Almajiri system of education, are left to rot even till today. Some weeks back, some years back, 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, Bishop Hassan Kuka raised the issue of how to reform the Almajiri system of education. But he was attacked by the northern elites. The same thing with even people like the deposed Emir of Kano. They raised some of the salient issues about that, warning that this is an army of jobless youths that are going to constitute a very serious problem. But the northern people play the ostrich. Now they are coming back because of COVID-19 economic woes that is being...
the governor of Kaduna State, Ambrose, has said that it is not because of COVID-19 that they are taking this step.
Well, I don't believe the governor of Kaduna State. If you go back to the utterances of Governor El-Rufai in the past about this, some certain issues, especially when it comes to religion, they will take his word for it. He's double speaking on this matter. They're all there over the years. El-Rufai has been a political elite, and he has been in the political space for almost 20 years in this country now, I think since we became visible. So he cannot be telling us that. Because of when the COVID-19 thing came, where they don't know what to do with these people, and that's why they started now pushing them out from their state and exporting them to their states of origin. Didn't they know that they existed before? So I don't buy into the explanations of the governor El-Rufai. He's just playing to the gallery in that matter. So what needs to be done now is for them to evolve another system. After all, we have in the Christian religion, we have the ways of teaching, which is the school they involve. So why can't they involve schools that children will come from their parents' home to learn? And then they can combine them in a way, just as they're doing in Saudi Arabia, they're doing in Iran, they're doing in Turkey, they're doing in other Islam nations. So ours would not be different. And the 1,000 system of education should be eradicated immediately in the 21st century.
All right, Ambrose Igbokwe, thank you for speaking with us. Joining me from Enugu is PR consultant and public affairs analyst Ambrose Igbokwe. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you very much, Veronica.
All right, you would recall that President Goodluck Jonathan made an attempt to solve this age-lock problem by building about 115 schools across the northern states, but that didn't seem to garner as much support. But now that we are seeing all of the northern governors speaking with one voice, are you confident that this would be an end or bring an end to the Almajiri challenge in the north?
Well, I don't believe that it will bring an end to it because the northern governors are just playing to the gallery. They are not sincere. There's no political will to do what they have to do. So they took the easy way out. And what is the easy way out? The easy way out is to deport these Almajiris back to their home state. Some of them cannot even be traced. Some of their home states, some of them have stayed so long in their the northern places they are that they don't even know their states anymore. So what we have witnessed is an upsurge of even with all the lockdown on interstate borders, we have witnessed an upsurge of the Almajiris being reported into other states, especially in the southern part of the country. And this is not healthy. You cannot create a problem over the years, a problem of more than 1,000 years, a problem of more than 300 years, and we are trying to now ship it. Why are the northern governors doing this? It is because they have totally realized that the Almajiris pose a very big threat to the spread of in the spread of the coronavirus. And that's why they are doing this, because there's no control, there's nowhere they live, they roam the streets. And so it cannot fit in whether they do a lockdown in the northern states or not. The Almajiris needs to be. It's not true that they are sincere about it. They are not.
All right, Ambrose, let me quickly ask you this question. Another thing that came to mind is the effectiveness. If we are to bring an end to this, what would be an effective way of addressing this? Some other persons have talked about perhaps birth control, a legislation that backs birth control in the north.
The problem of Almajiri is not a problem of population. It's not a problem of birth control. It's a problem of a systemic decay over the years. First of all, the strategy or the methods of teaching Islamic education in Nigeria has to change. Perhaps our northern brothers can come to to the Yoruba land in the Western nation to see how they inculcate the Islamic tenets or the Quranic teaching to their own Muslims, because in the Southwest, it doesn't happen that way. And we have Islamic schools going. So how do you now, the way forward is to integrate Western education to Islamic studies, just as the way it is done in other Islamic nations. So they should come, they don't need to go far, they don't need to go to Dubai, they don't need to go to Saudi Arabia, they don't need to go to Turkey. They just need to come to a state like Lagos, Ekiti, or other states, and see how these things are done. That is one of the way forward. Another way is to reactivate. Because on good authority, we learned that most schools that were built by Goodluck Jonathan, the former president, that they're overgrown with weeds and rodents. So the first thing is to reactivate those schools and see how the schools can now be activated. Let the people who are learning, these children, come from their homes. Let the Almajiri system be the teaching system. In fact, the Almajiri system should be abolished. Let's talk about Quranic education. The Quranic education or Islamic education should be that schools should be set up in locations very close to the people, in contiguous areas, so that children would go from their home to schools that are close to them. And in that way, they can learn both the Quranic education and Western education at the same time. Any other thing short of that is tantamount to just wasting our time.
Do you foresee some sort of a backlash or reaction from the people who have been used to this form of education, sending their children to Islamic scholars to do this?
Well, there's not going to be backlash, because the Almajiri system is being promoted by the elites in the north to satisfy their schemings about using these children as political urchins and thugs. So the people, first of all, most of the parents of these people are impoverished. They are peasants. They are poor people. Have you ever seen a child of a rich man being Almajiri begging on the streets? No. Have you ever seen a child of an elite begging on the street? They have never done that, because it is not their way. So what we are saying is that the Almajiri system should be abolished. Then there's not going to be backlash once you can provide this kind of Islamic education to these people close to their homes. And secondly, there has to be economic empowerment in the north, so that these children and their parents can have something to do. The children should also, those especially in their teenage age, can be made to have skilled labor and other things to help them live in a better society. But as it's configured now, it is a very negative, what I'll call phenomenon that has been promoted over the years by the northern elites. If the northern elites are truly ready to now reform what they have started, they can now go a step forward and implement all these recommendations we have given, and stop, offloading them to other states to cause more havoc.
All right, Ambrose Igbokwe, thank you for speaking with us.